All right, on with the semifinals. Already seeing two Beppo strikers. Not surprising, but that's okay. So we have Maor247 here in the bottom left in the green Gothic striker, and of course Beppo. And then also in the top right, Cynical, your mic is off. We have Happy Death
Oh dear, my mic has been off this entire time.
in
That's
the
unfortunate.
blue Black Ops striker. This map is Fire by Hawk485. Give you a scope of what this looks like.
Okay, here we go. That should be better. In any event, yes, fire. Two middle outposts with land bridges connecting them. It looks like something probably spawns on those middle islands, but I'm not sure just what it is.
Now there is some interesting play here with the neutral structure, where on this bottom outpost, all the neutrals are facing the bottom left player, but this is clearly the closest land route. Whereas the other neutral outpost, you'll notice, is got no land route to it. So if you push to T, you'll actually have to go through this outpost, but that's the one where you have the neutrals facing away from you. So you have the choice of hitting harder defended neutrals, but at the convenience of having an easy time, having a straight land route to them. You don't have to ferry. Maor almost getting taken down there by Happy Death, both of them in Beppo strikers.
During that meanwhile, Maor has successfully secured his first outpost, and will most likely now be looking to start to egress onto some of Happy Death's positions. Meanwhile, Happy Death is in the same place himself. Now, I would imagine that a map like this actually would favor carry mechs due to the fact that so many of these huge gaps can be circumvented.
There are a lot of different paths around, so even the close outpost right next to the fort has a straight land route to it. All it takes is a little bit of command mode or a little bit of V-pathing, and you can push to almost any outpost from almost any outpost.
That's right, and with the credit boxes up, Maor has secured the first one and is now going for the second one, so it looks like he's going to take those both.
So what is Happy Death going to do at this time that he's not hauling boxes? He's going to scout, yes, that's right, the secret rebel push, being produced by Maor, so it is not a secret anymore.
Now, both players have their very own secret rebel push going. I never would have guessed.
Happy Death has his own secret rebel push that has not been scouted just yet.
Perhaps giving him the edge, as he has also neutralized Maor's outpost and is already bringing creeps down on it, and does not get his creeps in first. Meaning that it stays under Maor's control.
Both players' forts going completely undefended. This may turn into a base race scenario.
That is correct, and if it does turn into a base race, I do believe that Happy Death's rebel force does have the more direct access. However,
Happy Death going down is trying to stay alive, but just can't Viking dance his way out of that.
That's right, and Maor is taking advantage of this distraction to push out. Possibly will run into Happy Death's own rebel army, which could lead to an interesting clash.
That's going to be some rebel on rebel fun times going on over there.
Oh boy, here we go.
Maor just dropping down, his shield's getting taken away instantly.
However, he doesn't have to go all that far to get to an outpost, and he's right back into the thick of it, as Happy Death is still distracted, and he does drop a couple Longhorn to help secure this outpost.
Happy Death, pretty comfortable with his position at this outpost, went ahead and took the forward outpost from Maor.
However, now it looks like Happy Death is taking the initiative to start to power sword quite a few of Maor's rebels down, leaving him without all that many left, and leaving Happy Death in an interesting position, to say the least.
Finally following up with the creeps, tries to drop boomers, but they get sniped by the rebels so quickly. They are pretty good at anti-infantry.
That's right, however, Happy Death is still there, and he is not really dying at all because of his power shield. So he just got off some free harass there.
Happy Death with a pretty sizable clump of units here at this other outpost that he could have sent in to help out, but has not done that yet.
That's right. And Maor has a lone a lone tier 2 creep, supported by a Seeker and a Ratchet, very slowly but surely taking down that outpost.
Priorities, man.
And there's finally some fire support for him.
He'll get there
He says,
eventually.
"Come on, guys, we can do this. Just work together." Meanwhile, there's more fireworks coming up top, with power swords all around.
Both
and
players
rebels
gaining
dying
levels.
like they don't even matter.
Gaining levels left and right, already level 6, and we're not even at the 5-minute mark, just because there
That
is
is
so
right.
many casualties in this.
And no one is really getting a decisive control of that outpost, as both players have opted to start building elsewhere.
So Happy Death's
As
outpost
the
here is
last
still
of it does go
neutral.
down.
Maor is sitting building up yet another push of rebels. Maor getting the lockboxes again. Happy Death may not know that there are lockboxes on this map.
And it is much worse for him if he doesn't, because that outpost, that upkeep that Maor is getting out of it is keeping him ahead despite losing a good deal to that top push.
Each of those
Maor.
boxes is 2 rebels, and he's already sold 6 of them.
That's right, and Maor has been able to eliminate everything that was at Happy Death's base, pretty much just leaving him with what's at his forward outpost and a couple of units at
Maor resigning to
Definitely.
his fate, just waiting for Happy Death to finish him off, but killing his time beforehand.
Yes, indeed. And he is going to do a little bit of Viking dancing, does manage to keep kiting around it, might even take down some units, and he's got a chance to survive here.
This
I do say
outpost
so.
is green now,
And
so if he can
does
take
Viking
off,
dance it. He does. Oh, but he's going low again.
Happy Death may be overextending a little bit here.
It's possible, and he's very hungry for this kill, but it looks like Maor is going to walk away with his life.
That's some impressive stalling right there. Fortunately, the
However,
creep
now
path for
there's
Maor
one.
comes straight to this outpost.
That's right, and Maor has agreed to turn this into a base race.
Rebels
as he
going
sends
out
his
for
cluster.
both sides.
It's a long winding path that Maor has to take to get there, but also a long winding path for Happy Death.
Maor using the lockbox to block the path so that the units go the other way.
And Happy Death has actually balked, perhaps sending his units to chase down Maor's, as he knows that he didn't really have a chance to win the base race.
Well, they're still on Y. They got blocked by the lockbox.
Oh, that completely blocked the terrain?
It blocked the terrain, so the units can't
My
path
God.
through it. That was a really
is-
clever move.
That is devious. And it's kind of funny to see that it's only taking up roughly a third of the path, yet it's still enough.
The rebels are now on the corner and are doing amazing damage. Maor has gone ahead and put them on C, so Happy Death can't just sit here and sword them all day.
However, he is going to get them pretty low. It
But-
might be enough to do some fairly substantial damage, as Maor doesn't seem to have any interest in command moding them around.
Happy Death's
once
army
again-
has finally engaged green forces, so this may not be the end of the game here, since
That's
he
right,
still
and
has a sizable force out there.
If Maor can hold this off, it will be over, but if he can't hold it off,
And if he gets killed,
then
that's
that could
going
be
to
a
put a
very
huge
dramatic
swing.
reversal.
So now the ball
Suddenly,
is in
it's
Happy
three
Death's court.
Rebels versus Happy Death's entire army coming in, Longhorns included, which will be much harder to power sword, as
Okay.
Maor buys himself back in at a somewhat accelerated rate.
Happy
And-
Death's only infantry unit, the boomers, so taking outposts just with the boomers, mopping up what's left, trying to keep Maor from producing rebels at this forward outpost. Meanwhile,
However, Maor does have that rear armor power sword damage coming through, and half of the push is already gone.
no anti-air with this push, so Maor is just going to nom all of these down.
And that's going to be another level for him easily, as maybe a quarter of his base is removed.
But
However,
Happy Death with a clear territorial advantage now.
that is true, and this could be bad for Maor unless he can stabilize very quickly. It looks like he is already starting to get to work on salvaging this mid base. With one rebel firing in on it, it is successfully... Oh no, it's not
It's successfully
neutralized.
killed is what it is.
Savage. Wrecked.
Fatality. So now the
Absolute
game has gone
madness.
back to where neither player really has anything left, so they're just trying to rebuild and do as much harass as they can just with their mechs.
That's right. However, now Happy Death controls both middle outposts. So it's going to be tough for Maor to really move back in, as Happy Death is just devastating those rebels with his striker. Neither player has the Blaster Guardians.
Both of them have Blaster Guardians. I don't know what you're talking about.
That doesn't reflect on the top screen. My bad. Okay, in any case, everything's dying. Maor's dying, Happy Death's dying, Rebels are dying.
Everything's dying left and right. Everyone's getting light units, and the mechs are so strong.
The lack of variety in this meta.
I mean, the only weapon they have to fight the Rebels right now is their own Rebels and their mechs.
Well, their mechs certainly do the job.
Their loadouts are almost identical.
That's right. However, there's a lot of neutral outposts on the map now, and Happy Death no longer has outpost dominance.
Maor probably just going to try and fort drop this would be my guess to finish off the game, but hasn't done it yet.
Dropping isn't going to be too easy with Tesla Towers, bot spawners, and no rear drop capabilities.
Pushing out towards mid with another force of rebels, meanwhile Happy Death just giving his creeps a little bit more time. Happy Death is trying to keep most of his army at the fort because he knows that he's vulnerable to drops right now.
That's right, and Maor would absolutely be comfortable with an honest space race situation here, just due to the base health disparity. With less than a fifth left on the field for Happy Death, and far more for Maor.
Happy Death not even bothering to sell the lockbox, using them as defense.
And that is perhaps the right decision, given that he could use tanks, and as the income builds up in them, he could always sell them later for even more money.
Just trying to get a little more harass down. Both players just continuing to crank out rebels. Happy Death finally switching it up and getting some boomers, but sadly those are on the contested outpost.
That's right. Oh, and Happy Death's attempt to capture that top outpost was foiled by one creep just wandering off to do its own thing. As these blaster strikers are just doing some incredible damage.
Neither player really going for any kind of anti-air investment, so the strikers are just having their way with everything, just going in there and leveling the playing field.
Absolutely. So however, now we are seeing that Maor has started to get outposts back under his control. However, he just lost half of his army.
That's pretty significant.
Power sword. That is a very bad result for him.
There's a lot of talk about how good rebels are, but tell you what, you get a mech that high a level and it doesn't care how many rebels there are. It will eat all of them.
That's right, and now that Happy Death has those bot spawners cranking out tier 3 creeps, it's a very good situation for him, as Maor does not have quite as many.
Both players do have bot spawners in their loadout, but Happy Death...
That's right.
Happy Death actually doesn't have bot spawners on his fort. He's got one with 2 Teslas.
That is correct.
Strangely
However,
enough,
Maor has all 3 of his bot spawners.
Maor finding himself in uncomfortable territory. Almost gets taken out over his post. He runs out of energy and has to leave, leaving Happy Death to just sit here and destroy it.
And with all those creeps coming in from the bot spawner, it's going to pretty well.
Maor stealing some of Happy Death's defenses. Snatching a lockbox and just tanking all the fire on the long fly back home.
And that was, I dare say, one of the amusing highlights of this stream.
That was cheeky.
It certainly was.
Like, oh, you think you can wall up? I'll show you.
And now Happy Death is in a position where most of his rebel army is being forced to wall up because, well, you know what a striker can do with its missile burst to an undefended base.
Happy Death finally deciding to invest in some Seekers. That he's got 4 at the fort and getting 2 more on the way.
And if that's not escalation, I don't know what is. As it looks like Maor is sending out.
As the mechs continue to get higher and higher level, what we're going to see is these rebel armies are probably going to start transitioning into Goliath play.
That is correct, and once we get to Goliath play, it will once again start to counterbalance the incredible damage that we're seeing from those strikers. And it will open up a whole new realm of base drop possibility for Maor, who's getting dangerously low and is out of life in addition to energy.
He went down before dying, so we can't say that he was going down.
Well, he was going down, it was just preemptively.
He was just doing Happy Death a favor, but unfortunately, once the missiles pick a target, they will home and track regardless of where you go. So if you take off and the missile burst is already in the air, they will hit you in the air. If you try to land and the missile burst is already launched, they'll hit you on the ground.
That's right.
Just making
And
that
still,
striker a little bit more scary.
Happy Death has stocked up 16,000 and 17,000 credits, and it looks like he is. Oh, never mind. He's just building more bot spawners.
He's going to bulk
it
up
looked
on
like
bot
maybe
spawners.
he was going to go for Goliaths, which is frankly what these players need to start doing right now. Because as it stands, let's be honest, these rebels are worthless.
This is
And
like
Maor,
each player
if
is
he's-
playing their own separate co-op game right now, just trying to do as much damage with their mech as possible.
That's true, and Maor's in a little bit of trouble, does make it out alive, and they need to start targeting those bot spawners because they are pumping out just a lot of power. And I honestly believe that whoever brings down their bot spawners first could start to take an advantage.
Harass
With-
is going to be very difficult, seeing as the other mech is going to be sitting there keeping you from doing much of it now. And then I
That's
say
right, but Maor does manage to destroy 2 bot spawners and probably bring this outpost down to neutral. Those Blaster Guardians keeping his energy on 0, however. And what manner of harass is Happy Death trying now? Firing
Death-
in on the top outpost.
he is maxed out on his upkeep right now, so he's ending up in a position where he really needs to do something. He can't just keep
That's
up this
right.
harass game forever.
However, Maor's ability to push out with his units and play around with his army a little bit more has actually led to Maor slowly getting dominance of the map, and Maor does attempt to steal another lockbox.
The Jukes! Maor getting away just barely, and may actually kill Happy Death over his fort.
Off with that lockbox. That was another incredibly cheeky maneuver.
Taking another lockbox from the fort doors of Happy Death.
And at this point, Happy Death may want to consider selling them and selling some units off for Goliaths.
Now, Maor actually has a use for credits right now. Happy Death is going to start riding his bank up. He's already at 30,000 and counting, just because he doesn't
However,
have the outpost to continue supporting his units.
That's right, which is why it might be prudent of him. Oh, and he suddenly does almost have the outpost that he needs to keep building. It looks like he's going to take this outpost down and fill up his queue while he can.
So it has become a war of the bot spawners, both players trying to crank out, while now we
That's
have
right.
level 3 and 4 creeps coming out on the field.
And the creeps should be enough to finish Happy Death off, as Maor lands to the job. Not looking too good for Happy Death here, as Maor is looking at a possible dominant situation.
Maor just continuing to crank out more rebels and more rebels. Happy Death is able to pick quite a few off, but Maor's almost unit capped regardless.
And once again, Maor does have the bot spawner advantage by 2 right now, which is going to significantly contribute to his ability to capture outposts, as it suddenly goes up to a 6-to-1 bot spawner advantage, which is very bad for Happy Death's ability to exert map pressure.
Happy Death pushing in a 2012 fashion there.
And Maor
Just-
narrowly escaping with his life.
Just dropping triple Seeker and then just shooting at Maor, not really trying to maneuver in any other way, just trying to get the player kill to open up the field a little bit and let him take advantage of the positioning.
That's right, and all of that damage coming down is keeping those outposts at low energy for both players.
Now we have a
As-
rebel push from Maor. He's going to push with all his rebels from fort, probably wait for them to progress a little bit before sending them from his forward post. But
That's
Happy
right.
Death at the same time is going all in as well.
Is he throwing?
He
No,
may
he's,
be,
He's returning them.
because he
he's
doesn't
returning.
have any scout on those rebels coming from the top.
That is correct, and if he isn't careful, this will be the end of it. As
I don't think
here it
Happy Death
comes.
has the setup that he needs. I think Maor can reposition pretty easily and take a lot of these out.
However, instead of repositioning, he seems content to simply let it fire in while he pursues
Well.
other objectives.
How's that for no fort damage taken? That's an impressive hold by Happy Death.
Or an impressive failure by Maor to do any damage whatsoever, as he finally drops on an undefended corner.
But now that
to
all
most
the
likely win the
defenders are gone, he's just going to drop and do it himself.
That is right, and there it is. Maor taking down Happy Death to win the first game of these semifinals, advancing him into the final round and condemning Happy Death. The
Impressive.
best of four. Best of four. Third place match. What am I saying?
I don't know. I don't know. Just keep it real. Take it easy.
The best of four at the bottom right outpost.